Alright guys, so this is a bit of a different video to normal, but basically, as you can tell by the title, we're basically just going to be case swapping our AM4 test rig into this Ions. I think it's an A4 Mini that I recently got. Now I will just open this up, you can see how dusty it is, but I will just kind of explain why we're doing this. So as you can see at the moment, this is what it looks like. And pretty much what we tend to do is just swap out the GPU, this is the RTX 2070. I've just recently repasted this again because the thermal paste I used was very thin, it was cheap, and it's great for CPUs when I'm swapping out CPUs all the time. But I decided to go for some thermal TFX, I don't know which one it is, but it's very thick stuff and it's actually improved the temps a lot from my last video with the RTX 2070. But anyway, enough waffling on. This is our AM4 test rig, and pretty much what's inside is we've got an Asus B550 motherboard. We've got, I think it's 16 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance DDR4 at 3600 megahertz. We've also got this NZXT Kraken X63 cooler, and as you can see by the marks down there, it has got very dusty over the years. That's not actually like free dust, it's settled dust, because this is the first cooler I ever had, AIO. So this is about 4 years old, but it still does a pretty good job anyway. But basically the reason we're case swapping this is because we have limited airflow on this case, and if you had an air cooler on there and you had I believe it's 2 or 3 fans you can fit at the front, that would be quite good, and you could have this one exhausting and this exhausting. But at the moment we haven't actually got any cool air being drawn in. So at the moment we've got the cooler set up on the front, and that's because we've only got one space at the back. So at the moment our intake is this cooler with 2 fans exhausting. Now someone mentioned in a video the other day that obviously my temps were around 60 degrees in Fortnite, and that was with a Ryzen 5 5500, and he mentioned, you know, your temps should be better with a water cooler. And he was kind of right, but I didn't really think much about it because, well, it's not like 60 degrees is gonna break anything or thermal throttle. But then it made me think, why don't I just make a video of us case swapping our test rig into here. And let's just open this up for you so we can see. Right, well that was a ball ache to open. It had a sticker on preventing it. So pretty much this is the case we want to go with, or we are going with. As you can see, what it means is we can top mount this the radiator, and we can have 2 fans as intake here. I believe you can put 3 fans here, which we can have as intake, and then we can have an exhaust here. Now I have actually got some different fans that we're going to be using because I actually want the whole PC to be just black. Now this is a NZXT H510 case, and I've had this for a while now. This was the first case I bought to flip PCs, which is over a year and a half ago. But when it came damaged, and in the listing it wasn't like that, so it got damaged on shipping, and whether it was caused by the damage, but the front IO doesn't work. So I'm going to just give this case away. It might help someone out who just needs a case that, you know, does the basic things, works. But yeah, so we're going to get on. We're going to take everything we need to take out of that PC and pop it into here. So yeah, let's get on with the video. Alright, and just so you guys know, these are the fans we're going to be putting in. They're fairly budget fans, but Arctic are known for being, you know, good value but good performing. So this is a 5-pack of F12 and their PWM fans, and we also have got one here as well, which I believe is a P12 silent. Yeah, it says P12 silent. And where we actually got this was, I believe his name was Zach, hopefully I'm not wrong there. It was basically someone I bought some RAM off in the summer, and he gave me a bunch of free parts and SSD and some fans, and I never really had a use case for this. But what we're going to do is, because this the other case we're going to be using has got space for 6 fans, excluding the radiator, sorry. So we're just going to chuck this in there. It is only 3 pin, So I believe it's going to be static, and we won't be able to adjust the speed of the fan. But that's fine, because as long as it's fairly quiet, we can then adjust these fans accordingly. Because if we can have a bunch of fans in there, we can have them all running at a lower RPM and still provide very solid cooling. So right, let's get on with the case swap now anyway. Alright guys, so hopefully you can see this good enough. I'm kind of just using my monitor light plugged into the mains just to give us a bit more light, because I have just moved my room around, so I will do a setup tour video soon. And then I'm also going to do a room transformation video, which is going to probably be in the next 2 months or so, but look out for that one as well. So we're just right now going to take out the graphics card, and we're using this Works electric screwdriver. It is really good. It has a screw stuck to it. That's an M.2 screw. I better not lose that because I'm low on them. But yeah, this was like £30 off Amazon with a whole set of bits, which I will show. So yeah, pretty good. It's helped me out because actually, since getting an electric screwdriver, half the time I can't be bothered to use a normal one now, so, but maybe I'm just lazy. So as I said, this is the RTX 2070. This is actually going to be for our £400 build. That'll be out very soon, because as of today, the Montech case that we got for this is here. So we're pretty much ready to build it. So in the next week, we're going to get that built. And I think I've got one more PC build video to get out first, and then we're going to see, and then it'll be the RTX 2070 PC. Let's take the SSD out. So this is where I store all my games, by the way. This is a 2 TB. It's only it is a Gen 4 SSD, but I bought it just for benchmark. So this is the only drive I use when I'm doing benchmark videos. So whenever you're seeing my Fortnite benchmarks or PC builds, when I build the PC, I then take out the SSD and pop this in, because it's got all our games on. Right, so we need to take the cooler off. I believe inside of here we've got a Ryzen 5 5600, because we was testing it, I believe, with a 3060. I might be wrong. So we'll just wipe this thermal paste off, because otherwise it will end up on our clothes or our fingers, because it normally does. I'm going to place that there for now. And I do actually like to normally just wipe the CPU off while it's in there, just because it's not going to move around, and it means there's less chance of me making a mess on myself. So yeah, this is a Ryzen 5 5600. I know you guys can't see it from the camera. Honestly, a good little budget CPU. As you guys probably know, if anyone asks me should I get a Ryzen 5 3600, yada yada, I always recommend a 5600. It just performs really well. Right, let's use this to lift it up. So yeah, Ryzen 5 5600. Let's just make sure all these cables are free. Boom. Can't lose that either. And hopefully this should just all come off. Right, that's the water cooler off. We're obviously leaving a mounting on there because we're going to use this cooler still. Ah, there we go. But yep, I can definitely see from that standoff, look, we definitely stripped the threads on it. But as you can see, these black standoffs are the originals, and these gold ones are ones I bought from Amazon because I didn't have any spare standoff screws, standoffs. But the only trouble is, these gold ones take slightly different screws to the black ones, so when you mix and match, you can run into some issues. Right, there goes that screw, good. We've obviously got screws with the case anyway that we're going to be using. But yeah, this is the Asus B550F gaming Wi-Fi. It's actually a really nice board. Funny story, basically, I haven't actually been on PC that long in the grand scheme of things. I built my first PC at the end of 2019, and I had a 3700X, so Ryzen 7 3700X, and I had a B450 motherboard, which we actually only just got rid of this year, which was laying around. I decided to put it into a PC. But pretty much when I upgraded to the 5900X, which was about a year and a half after getting my first PC, I thought you had to have a B550 motherboard. I mean, this is how little I knew, guys. But obviously what you actually just need to do is update your B450 motherboard to support the latest generation. So that's how I ended up with this board, and it stayed around. It's a really good board, it honestly is. I can't complain with it. But yeah, that is that. And yeah, so the power supply that we use in this test rig, well, it's upside down, but it's a Be Quiet. It's a straight power platinum, so it's 850 watt, I believe. Yeah, 850 watt, plat rated, so it's a very good power supply. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to take all these RGB fans out. I think they're all 4-pin connectors, 5-volt, 3-pin ARGBs, so that'd be good. I could keep these for some budget builds. If I could manage to get a black case for cheap, I could use these 3 fans. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll put in the we'll put in the Arctic fans. So we're going to have one there, we're going to have 2 here for intake. That's what I mean, it's not going to look the best or anything, but it's just going to be all black. So intake, and then we'll have intake here as well. So yeah, the only thing that might be hard is mounting these on the bottom because limited space to screw them up, but that's fine, we'll figure it out. Bit of a weird angle, these ones. I don't think I've missed any. But now we're fully kitted out with blades. 5 intake, 1 exhaust, but the cooler's going to be exhausting out the top. It's looking really good at the moment. So what I realised was I had to take out the 2 fans here, mainly because to get all the USBs and stuff in, it's going to be really awkward if we do the fans first. So we're going to leave the fans till last. We've left that one in because it shouldn't matter too much. But yeah, now let's just get the motherboard in and we'll go from there. And also we're going to put the cooler in last as well, just because once again the case, I mean, it is good, but there's limited space. So I need to get all the CPU fan headers and all that plugged in, everything plugged in, and then I'll put the cooler in. So we will just plug in a few of these cables, like the front panel connectors, USB cable as well. We don't actually need like a hard drive LED reset button. We won't be using any of that. Like that. So that's pretty much the front panel connectors done. And the USB, there will be one more USB for the cooler, which will be this one here. And then that connects to the water cooler. So while we're here, we'll just plug this one in as well. And now what we're going to do, we'll just properly, so let's just check. We don't need anything else. I mean, there's a fan header there. So what we might do is just to make things a bit easier. We've got a fan splitter. If we just put that through now, then the fans can plug into that and we ain't got to worry later on. Just like that. And then we've got one extra one up here. So, but that, we can come to that later on. So I think what we're going to do quickly, and I won't record this part, so just put all the fans back in place, and then we can fit the power supply and then get the cooler and everything fitted. Alright, so now to fit the power supply. And this time round we'll actually put 4 screws in instead of just putting 2, because we were lazy apparently. Now of course there's no fancy cable extensions we're going to be using or anything, because as you guys know, this is my test rig. That was not easy doing it in the dark, that's for definite, but it's starting to look really good. So now it's really just pop the CPU back in, the graphics card, and we need to mount the cooler. Alright, so for the time being we're just going to pop this CPU back in. So it's going to keep lifting up because we've got the radiator rested on here. Let's just place 2 of these screws in. Like I said, I'm only going to do them hand tight because we haven't got any thermal paste on there anyway. Alright, that's in. I don't really care how it looks. Not really. We have got to make sure that it's all going to fit in. It's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze, I can say that much already. Now that's the only annoying thing, is if we want to change out fans or even swap the RAM out, because a RAM, I will try and give you a better angle, the RAM is just stuck underneath it. So it is a very tight squeeze, but it will work, that's the main thing. And we'll probably have it aligned like that so it's in line with these 2 blades here. Well, somewhat aligned anyway. So we have put one random silver screw in. I don't think I've got any more black ones. Ah, we do indeed. We do indeed. Now honestly I might just keep it with 4 in. It is so tightly wedged in there that it is not going to move. Now let's peel off the film. So that's about it guys, this is how it's turned out. It's not much to look at, but we've got a lot of good airflow in here. We can finally have these exhausting out the top. It was a very tight squeeze with this. Couldn't have been any closer. Obviously we haven't got a graphics card in there yet, but that's because, well, it's a test rig. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you all soon.